This video is on the Wilson Combat EDC X9. I've had it for a couple years, but I'm just barely taking it out of the safe today. I'm going to shoot 6 different types of ammo just to compare groupings and also check for reliability. Before I get started with the accuracy comparison, I'm going to talk about it for a minute. If you want to get straight to the shooting results, just fast forward to the end of the video. The surface area of the trigger has vertical serrations. I don't get too caught up with trigger weights, but I can tell you that this one is light. You know when you're making a slow precision shot and you're pulling the trigger against the wall, you're trying your best not to anticipate the shot, so you want it to surprise you? Well, this one's very easy to surprise you. When you start pulling on the trigger, there's almost no play at all. The wall's pretty much right there. It's very easy to break through. And if you're shooting the reset is very short. And the trigger is metal. It's not plastic, nor is anything else on the gun that I can see, besides maybe the green fiber optic. The rear sight is adjustable, and I bought tools so that I could make adjustments for myself at the range, but I didn't need to. It came perfectly zeroed, and I'm glad I didn't have to make any adjustments. There's plenty of subtle details that make this gun really nice. Notice how the horizontal lines on the back of the rear sight continue down to the back of the slide. And when the hammer's down in the uncocked position, the lines on the back of the hammer also match everything else. I do like the width of this green fiber optic front sight. As I'm looking down the sights and I have both the front and rear lined, it has just enough space on both the left and right of the front sight. When looking at a bullseye at close range, for example 10 yards, the front sight's thin enough where I can still see the bullseye and I can place the front sight right where I want it. That's going to be the difference between sights designed more for precision versus sights made for combat. Both types of sights have their purpose, but there's nothing I would change on this one. The gun's ergonomics and grip angle make it easy to hold onto to begin with, but these G10 grips make it really easy to hold steady when firing. And I would say that this starburst pattern that Wilson Combat uses on the side panels even further enhance the grip. It also has the X-Tac pattern milled into the front strap and mainspring housing. And I do think the front strap and mainspring housing milling is what's going to help maintain its intended position during firing. The grip on the EDC X9 is awesome, but this is my favorite part about it. Most pistols have a sharper edge at the corner of the grip. This is the part that shows when you're concealed carrying. This rounded edge on the corner of the EDC X9 is one of those subtle design differences that I think makes it more carryable. For example, if you're sitting down at a restaurant, maybe wearing a t-shirt, your t-shirt just kind of drapes over that rounded edge. There's not going to be a sharp corner sticking out. Notice how the theme of these deeply milled lines from the back of the slide to the back of the hammer to the back of the rear sight also transfer over to the thumb safety. The magazine release, the thumb safety, and the hammer are part of Wilson Combat's bulletproof trademark line, meaning these parts are not casted or injection molded. They're CNC machined from solid steel billets. They do make a model with an ambidextrous safety. This one doesn't have it, so this is what it looks like on the right side, opposite from the thumb safety. Another optional feature the EDC X9 has is the accessory rail. You can get it with or without it. I ordered one with the accessory rail strictly for looks. I don't plan on carrying it with a light, but it's always nice to have the option. Checking out the muzzle end of the EDC X9, once again Wilson Combat went above and beyond with attention to detail. From the recessed crown to the reverse plug to the front slide serrations and rail, everything seems to transition from one part to another seamlessly. Looking at the barrel, I don't know if these lines are for aesthetics or to save weight, but either way it's awesome. And those lines or grooves in the barrel are consistent all the way back to the chamber. And once again, the EDC X9 displays consistent attention to detail right down to the base plate. Before I go any further, I just want to say thanks for watching, and every creator has a different reason for making videos. My motivation is subscribers. When I see that you subscribe to my channel, it motivates me to continue making videos. So if you have a half second, hit the subscribe button. If you have another half second, hit the like button. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. Now on with the video. Today I'll be shooting 6 different types of ammo. 4 defensive loads from major manufacturers and 2 target loads from lesser known manufacturers. I'll be shooting Winchester Ranger 124 grain plus P, Federal HST 124 grain plus P, and contrary to popular belief on the internet, there is a difference between the law enforcement version and the civilian version of HST. You can see a difference when you remove the bullet from the casing, and also if you look at the back of the bullet where the primer is, there's no sealant on the civilian version, and you can see a thin blue sealant around the primer on the law enforcement version. The differences are really a topic for another video, but I just wanted to quickly mention that. Hornady Zombie Max 115 grain, it's going to be the same thing as Critical Defense, just a different color. Underwood Extreme Defender 90 grain. After I shoot, take notice of the holes this ammo punches in the paper. It looks very different from the other ammo. And for my target loads, I'm going to be shooting Bellum 124 grain FMJ and Igman 115 grain FMJ. Before shooting a new gun, I always clean it, but I didn't this time. When you first take a new gun out of the box or the bag, it may look greasy, like it has a lot of lube on it. That's not lube, that's factory protectant. There's a difference. Long story short, I had a couple of malfunctions right away. I stopped what I was doing, field stripped it, cleaned it, lubed it, and had no problems after that. So the shots here are actually not my first set of shots. These are actually the second target. The first shots were good, but the gun was malfunctioning, so I scrapped that target, and here's the second go at it. Everything I'm doing today is going to be at 10 yards, standing, strong hand supported. All that means is regular two-handed shooting. Let's see how I did with the Winchester Ranger. So there's my group, and let me show you a close-up. Now I'm going to shoot Underwood Extreme Defender 90 grain. And let's see how I did with the Underwood. And that's what I mentioned earlier about it punching a different type of hole in the paper. And that's an okay group, but it looks slightly left of the X. There was nothing different about the way I held the gun or pulled the trigger, but for some reason it looks different than my first group with the Winchester. Now let's see what I can do with the Hornady Zombie Max 115 grain. And I can't do a 5-shot group with the Zombie Max. I only have 4 rounds left. Let's see how I did with the Zombie Max. And this group is more centered toward the X, much like the Winchester Ranger. So for this Federal HST, I thought I hit the video button, but apparently I just took a photo. So here's the 5-shot group with the Federal HST next to the Zombie Max. Now I'll be shooting the Igman 115 grain FMJ at the lower left-hand target. And there's the Igman 115 grain FMJ group. So I screwed up again with the camera when shooting the Bellum. I hit the photo button instead of capturing video. So here's the end result. There's the Bellum 124 grain next to the Igman 115 grain. There's the Hornady against Federal. And there is the Winchester Ranger next to the Underwood. I hope you found this video entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.